Hey Zoe, you said you wanted to do some more sort of Iron Giant type characters. So I found these online. These are just model sheets from characters from the Iron Giant. I know you said you wanted to do more, wanted me to do more females and stuff, but I'll get to that in a minute. What I wanted to show you first, really quickly, was these characters and their construction, which is really simple. I thought you might get a bit of a kick out of it. So I'm just going to make this video really quick because I haven't got a lot of time today, but you'll get an idea of it pretty quickly as well, so that's going to be a plus. Because the characters are so very simply constructed. Right, that's him. Square, cylinder, triangle, square, pelvis, Superman shape, the Superman underpants. That's what I always think of for a pelvis. Cylinder, 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 and cylinder, cylinder for the arms, 2 cylinders for the other arm, and kind of a square shape, 2 triangles for the feet. That's him. This guy, Kent, the bad guy, he's pretty simple as well, but it's worth constructing him because he's got a very, like, if you see Dean here, he's got a very long torso and a very, well, Kent, for some reason, they gave him really high pants. I don't know if that's where his waist is, because that's his character or what, but yeah. Like when you remove all of, he looks correct, right? He looks normal, he looks right. But he's got a very long face in comparison with Dean, who's got a very square face. He's got a very triangular chin, and he's got this almost ridiculously high waistline. So he's got a very square torso and very long legs. It's very amusing, as you can see. Yeah, so it's always worth deconstructing these kinds of characters. We'll do Hogarth here. He's got a square head as well. Like, he's very square. I was just watching the film trying to get an idea for him, and yeah, he's just a square on legs basically. And as you can see there as well, that's him. Look. Square on legs. He's kind of got quite a high waistline as well. I suppose that's what helps makes him look like a kid. But look, square on top of rectangle on top of longer rectangle with kind of flared pants there. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you wanted to recreate him now, you could take these shapes on a piece of paper or different canvas or whatever, and you could sketch that out. All the rest of this, his eyes and his nose and his mouth and all that, that's just detail. There's nothing really to it. Right, so last but not least is Annie, the mum. She's who I really want to get to for this. All these guys have very sharp faces, very sharp edges, and they're all very square, as you can see. The mum, if you draw through her hair, her face is very round, like all of these. like they're round circles with a chin. So, you know, even when she opens her mouth, she's very round. She's got shoulders, same as the boys. That line, that's her torso. She's got a very, very narrow waist. Now, if you don't draw in the boobs to start with the construction, yeah, that's her torso shape right there. Okay, so she is a three-dimensional figure, so that's a two-dimensional shape, but in 3D that would be more like so. Alright, that would be her front there, that would be the midway point, so you'd probably draw in the boobs there, something like that. Now her waist is ridiculously small, like all, you know, thin animated women. Their waists are beyond what any normal woman could possibly have and still live. She's got the same similar shaped pelvis to men in this one. Alright, and she's got the legs there. Now, when you go to draw a leg, regardless of man or woman, right, that's the leg there for Dean. That there to that there, halfway between, that's where the knee is. Alright? With him, the knee, you know that it's going to be about there. So when he's bending, Hogarth, the same deal. You know it's going to be about halfway between there. So if you were to draw Hogarth with shorts on, oops, wrong button. If you wanted to draw him with shorts, you draw those shoes in, draw the knee in there. No, actually, sorry. Knee's facing front on him, so you draw his leg in like so, you draw the knee out there, and you put him in shorts like that. And with that one there, it'd be about there. It's an awful looking leg, but whatever. You get the idea. If that was where his knee, that was where his legs are, there. And that's the same with her. She has her knees halfway down the legs. So when you draw in the basic shape for the legs, halfway between is where the knee goes. So that's where the leg bends. Now they've given her a nice shapely legs, I'm sure, underneath that dress. Alright? And then they've just put the dress in like that bell shape. But it's a really good idea. When you come across characters like this where the costume covers up a lot of the anatomy, especially the legs in this shape, it's a good idea to try and draw them in for yourself, because that way you know where the anatomy is going to affect the costume. But yeah, so I guess really she's not actually that round, much different to the guys except for her head shape. She looks a lot softer. She's got a much narrower waist, but apart from the costume, everything's very, very similar to, you know, that. She's got a longer neck, I suppose, a much more slender neck. And then she was that, wasn't she? So, a ridiculously thin waist. And then legs going down. Now, when you're inventing these characters and you're drawing your own characters, but you're using these as sort of your basis reference, something that's handy to do is to work out how the length of the character's legs compared to their torso. Hogarth here, he looks about halfway from the top of his head to about his ankles. He's just over half yeah, just over half is his head and his torso. With this guy, Kent, I'd say that that's about halfway there. So his head and torso is over half. With Annie here, no, that's not right. Yeah. Right, so her pelvis, her crotch right there is about halfway, which is pretty standard. So half of her body is leg and the other half is her torso. All right, so when you're drawing your own figure, you're trying to recreate it yourself, draw yourself a line, and you want to go halfway, which means that I've got her feet a little bit too long. All right? So that's about right there. And cylinder for the arms, cylinder for the arms, hand shape, voila, we'll give her a nice flowing 1950s style skirt, and the hair, confused expression on her face, voila. Right, so these were some actual character design sheets of Annie from that film, and yeah, we'll just go through them quickly. As you can see, a lot of this is kind of intuition as well, like just practicing and testing it out and seeing what works, seeing what looks right when you're drawing them. And you're going to know, you're going to see it, you're going to say to yourself, well, that looked not right, and I'm going to redraw that. But that's a terrible, terrible looking leg. That'll be about where the knee is there, and then that'll go through that way. Ugh. Good grief. You wouldn't think I'd do this regularly, would you? Okay. Triangle shape for the shoulders. Give her a torso. You've got to also bear in mind, when you're drawing a character that looks like so, right? Alright, all of this will be even. This will be virtually symmetrical. And what they've done in these poses, because they've drawn, they want to draw poses, the character designers draw poses so they can send it through to the animators, so that the animators have an idea of what each of the characters will look like when they're in motion. And that's the thing, all of these characters here are in motion. So it's a 3/4 view, but one side's going up, the other side's going down, like that. So she's tilting in the middle. That's about where her knee is, roughly. If I'm not mistaken, they've drawn that in already for us. Isn't that nice? Yeah. So you can see that that's kind of a tilt that she's got going on there. That'll be the edge. something I've just noticed as well is that her pelvis and her, so if you were going to draw her as a box shape like so, her torso as a box like that, the pelvis would be not connected to that box shape. That would be connected through the belly. That's all the organs and intestines. So the box shape there is kind of the rib cage, which is immobile, and the pelvis, which is, they're two solid shapes. And the goo in the middle, where your belly button is and stuff, that's just that's just goo. That's how it connects through that. So her pelvis there, as you can see, voila. Less of a glamour shot going on here, more of a 3D body shot, which is kind of good for us here because we can this one here looks a bit more front on, a little bit easier to draw. Yeah, and there we go with the goo. So I hope that's a bit is going to help you with doing your own. Again, if you've got any questions, just shoot me a line and I'll do my best to answer them. Alright, we'll see you later. Bye.